everybody, welcome back to Taji's World of Books, and welcome to my monthly favorites. Hey everybody, welcome back. So today I thought that I would jump on and do a very quick video, and I promised you guys that I would do my monthly favorites video. And this time I want to do something a little bit different. In the past, I've done product reviews and I've done, makeup reviews and different things that I have enjoyed over the course of the month that I have said has made my life easier. And while I still want to do that, there are two things that were just glaring to me that I absolutely had to talk to you guys about. And I just wanted to hop on and include these in my monthly favorites. And so this time I'm going to do two shows that I absolutely binged on, that I absolutely loved. And if you guys haven't checked them out, I am going to try and encourage you with as much gusto that I can to check out these series, because I have binged both of these. So the first one that I want to talk to you about is The Last Kingdom. And this I found, and it had been popping up. It's on Netflix. It had been popping up on my Netflix multiple times. I was going to check it out. I didn't. I was just like, no, not for me. I don't want to do it. And then ultimately I was bored, had nothing else to do, didn't feel like picking up another book. And so I just said, I'm going to just try this series. I'm going to try one episode, and I'm going to see if I love it. And one episode, I was hooked, and I binged all 5 seasons, because there are only 5 seasons in it. And each season has about 10 episodes, if you will, something like that. So I just went ham on this. And I gotta tell you, like, I did the research and the back like story of all of this, and so I wanna get it to you as well. So I have some notes here. Okay, so The Last Kingdom is based on a book series that was written by Bernard Cornwell. And I'm gonna put it over here. And so that series is basically about England in the 9th and 10th century, okay? And so the books have there are 13 books in the series, so it's like an ongoing, it's like crazy, but there's 5 seasons in the show. I doubt that I will go back, because I tend not to like high fantasy books, so I doubt that I will go back and actually read the books, but the show, I'm telling you, is off the chain. And so this is a show right here. And so basically it's the story of the making of England during the 9th and 10th century, when King Alfred the Great reigned, and his son and his grandson basically fought against the Danish or the Viking invaders that sought to plunder and steal land from England. And King Alfred the Great basically had a vision at that time that he was going to unite 4 kingdoms in England at the time to make a united, or a Great Britain. And it was like the Mercian kingdom, Northumbria, Wessex, and I can't remember the last one, but there were like 4 different kingdoms. And so the Danish rule basically came and stole one of the empires, and it was Alfred's sort of desire. And over those 4 empires, there were 4 different kings that ruled. And so there was a lot of warring and infighting, but once the Danes and the Vikings came over, then it was like the English versus the Danes, and it was King Alfred the Great's desire to unite all 4 kingdoms under one rule. And so the story is being told through the eyes of Uhtred, Lord Uhtred of Bebbanburg. And so Lord Uhtred he basically is a nobleman. He was a nobleman, but as a child, he was stolen away from his homeland. It's in Northumbria of Bebbanburg, and he was raised by Danes or Vikings and of Ragna. So he became Ragna. So we know about Ragna from another Viking story. And so he was stolen away and raised as a Dane and as a Viking. And so that happens when he's a young child, and when he sort of comes back, he is now a man, and he goes through a series of trials and tribulations that ultimately bring him back to England and bring him back to confront or be involved with King Alfred. And it's basically the whole story of the Danes' assault on Wessex, about how Lord Uhtred is trying to get back to Bebbanburg, which is his home ancestral lands, and so he wants to raise a family. There's also some love components. It's his different relationships, it's his family, it's his children, it's relationships with Alfred and Alfred's children and his family, and how their destinies are intertwined. And there's like a tagline in the show where Lord Uhtred always says like, destiny is all. And I'm telling you, this show hands down is one of the best productions made on television. Netflix did an amazing job. I absolutely loved it. You get to hear about the history of the Danes and the Vikings, and about Valhalla and what that really means. You get to see about, learn about Lord Uhtred. You get to learn about English history and seeing like what's happened, how Alfred brought together the 4 different sort of kingdoms to unite under one. You also saw the beginnings of the Scottish sort of rebellion and the fight against England, and why the Scots and the English were at war with each other since the very beginning, and what that really meant. And so while it was history, it was also super entertaining, really good, sexy, spicy, really cool. Like, it brought in everything. And if the book was written, if any of you have actually read The Last Kingdom by Bernard Cornwell, let me know if it really does bring in like all the sex, all the spice, all the drama, all the intrigue, because I would be all in for that. Like, that's the one thing that I struggle with fantasy romance. It's usually fantasy here, romance little, or romance up here, fantasy not so much. And so I like that nice balance of the two, because it really is intriguing and fascinating, and like you're in it to win it for all of it. So having said that, that is The Last Kingdom. So I hope that you guys go and check it out. I'll put all the links below so you can see the book and you can check out the show if you want to. But it is a definite 5-star for sure. Like I said, and if I binged it, and I mean, I was up till like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, like on it, like watching all these episodes. And when I finished with 5, I was like, oh my gosh, like it ended it with this like a kind of a cliffhanger, kind of a bang. And I went and researched, and they were like, oh, it's the final season, it's not going to be anymore. I was like, no, you can't do this to me. There's more to go. There's more story, but it's actually based on history. So of course there's more things to go. Like, you could be telling this for like, eons and decades. But so having said that they ended it where they did, they ended it in a really cool place. So I highly recommend, if you guys are watching my channel, your interests are very similar to mine, most likely, and I think that you will really enjoy this as well. And it was really funny because I was reading a post on Facebook, and somebody was saying, I think it was Jennifer L. Armentrout, and Jennifer L. Armentrout was saying that she sees Cass from Blood and Ash, the hero in that, I think his name is Cass, the hero from Blood and Ash, as whenever she sees the actor that plays Lord Uhtred, that's how she envisions Cass to look like from Blood and Ash. And I was like, yes, I do totally see him that way too. So anyway, so obviously a lot of people are checking it out that like the things that we do. So I hope that you do as well. So then the next show that I want to recommend that I have been watching, and it just so happens that it is in 5 seasons as well. It is on FX. You can also watch it on Prime Video if you have Prime as well. Like, you can pay each, for the season, or, episode by episode. And I absolutely love it. It is so good. It is called SnowFall. I'll put it over here. And it is I'm going to talk about the first season, and then I'll tell you that they're going to go through, we're in season 5 currently. They've just gotten approved for season 6, and season 6 will be the final season for this particular show. So this is produced, the executive producer is Dave Andron, and the program creators, the main person on this is John Singleton, and John Singleton was also a writer on this as well, so it's like really envisioned as his brainchild. If I'm misspeaking about that, anybody that's in the industry that knows and is watching, please correct me if I am wrong. And so what I love about this is that it's art imitating reality, because it's a little bit of both in terms of what really happened and creative license on what really happened. And so this story takes place in 1983, and it's the beginning of the crack cocaine epidemic in its very infancy in Los Angeles. You've got an ambitious crime lord, and it's the Iran-Contra sort of situation, and the CIA is trying to figure out how to fund the Nicaraguan Contra sort of situation. And they need money, because war needs money, and they don't have it. And so there is a CIA operative, his name is Teddy. He sort of gets involved with these guys that are running marijuana and they're connected to the cartels, and through a series of successive events, he gets connected with this young gangster that's up and coming in LA that wants to make a mark named Franklin. And for whatever reason, Teddy and Franklin really hit it off because Teddy, CIA agent, sees something in Franklin. Franklin is savvy, he's a thinker, he's smart, he doesn't make impulsive, impetuous moves. He really thinks several moves ahead. And he sees Franklin as a way to move product. If he gets the cocaine from Nicaragua and moves it in to the country, then Franklin can really distribute it to the local sort of community, and it can be lucrative for all parties involved. And it's the evolution of that story. And much of this is founded in fact, and much of it is creative license, but it's an interesting sort of take on things, and it really shows you where the community was prior to the introduction of crack cocaine and what was going on within the community and how they sort of developed and how they learned how to create crack and how they learned how to cook it. And then from there, once they cooked it and developed, and it's really interesting because they show also not only when they learned how to cook it, where they went, who taught them the recipe, how they recreated it, and how they developed this into a syndicate that basically emerged from, you know, being very local and insular to this mass sort of operation, and then also how it then translates over to other parts of the country, because this is very centralized to Los Angeles, but it really does become a nationwide epidemic, and how the government really had a hand in this, and how whilst on one side they're saying, Nancy Reagan is saying we have a war on drugs, just say no, and on the other end they're funding the Nicaraguan Contra with crack cocaine, funneling it into the country with a direct sort of intention of hooking a population onto this drug so that they can continue to spend money and fund this illegal war. Because on one hand, they were saying we're against the war, we don't support the war, and the other hand, they're funding it. So it really is a contradiction in terms, and it's a phenomenal story. You really should check it out. It's very entertaining, and it is very informative, and I just absolutely loved it, and so I wanted to share that with you guys. And so, you guys, that is all that I have for today. So if you like this sort of new edition of stories that I'm going to be bringing to you that are intertwined, both movie and television, along with books or with things that are coming in from books, then I'm happy to do that. Just let me know in the comments below. Please do me a favor and like this video, and also hit the subscribe button so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video, which is generally 3 times a week. And that's all that I have for today, and I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video.